just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Happy Monday, gardeners. Welcome to the Green Room. We've got an awesome show planned for you tonight, but first, I'm hanging out in the grow tent because I am about to harvest. And there it is, my mini harvest from the indoor garden. I've got some little finger eggplant, some parsley, some arugula, some romaine lettuce. It's time to eat. Enjoy the show, everybody.
All right, everybody, all of my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts, welcome to the Green Room right here on the Let's Get Growing show on the Urban Gardener channel. It's so wonderful to see all of you here with us tonight. And also, let's go ahead and welcome right at the top of the show our really amazing co-host here on the Green Room, Natalie, the Fresh Princess. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really great. How are you
Happy
doing?
Monday. Yet another episode. What are we, 5 now? Episode
Oh man,
5?
I think what is it? Is it really 5 already? I
Yeah,
guess
I think so.
I'm already losing track. I mean, but yeah, I mean, here we are. 5 shows into this. How amazing. I mean, really great. We're just trucking right along here on this new show here on Let's Get Growing show weekend, our 3-day weekend as we call it. But yeah, it's
what's up,
really
gardeners?
great.
Also, everyone here, thank you for hanging out with us. We've got a really good show planned tonight. Joining us in the Green Room, we have Paul from Guten Gardening.
Yeah, as well as Scott from New Garden Road. He's going to be joining with us here just a little bit later on the show as well, too.
Yeah, I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited to have a chat with them. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Not only that, we've got Katrina. So we've seen Shawnee Grows and Robin Gardens on our Grow What You Eat segment. So here in just a few minutes coming up as well, too, we're going to meet Katrina and see what she's got for us in our Grow What You Eat segment coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm loving that segment. It is definitely informative, and I'm excited to see what Katrina has to share this week. So that'll be cool. And also, really quick, at the top of the show, for anyone that is watching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Let us know that you were here in the comments. We appreciate you.
Yes, definitely drop into the comments there. And if you are here with us live, definitely drop into the chat with us here and join the conversation. It's what's so awesome about doing these live shows, Natalie, is that we've got this amazing audience joining with us each and every week here live with us to be a part of our show. And if you are live, definitely drop your questions and comments in the chat. We just might feature those on the show. Also, too, everybody, let's also jump in right now as well, too, with our roll call. We'll be doing roll call here in just a few minutes as well, too. This is a way to get a little shout out at the top of the show. So definitely drop in. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're growing from and what's growing on in your garden.
Yeah, what's going on with you, Enoch? How you doing?
Doing all right. Not too bad. Kind of a busy week on all sorts of levels of things. I'm really just now starting to get outside. I've been doing things inside all winter long now, and you know what that's like. You're mostly inside, but I need to step outdoors and start thinking about this outdoor garden I've got. We got all sorts of spaces and things like that. I got to start getting shapened up, if you will. Shapened up, cleaned up. Winter's been wreaking havoc on it all. So all winter long.
We just had our snow start to melt yesterday and today. So yeah, it's been, I wish I could get started on my outdoor, but not yet. I have to wait.
Yeah. So I've been out there doing a lot of, just kind of assessing what I need to be doing, getting that garden plan going, and I
Yeah.
want to do just a little bit more than what I did last year. I took a real step back from a lot of things last year. Still had a really great garden, but this year I want to kind of drop in and do some more things that I've used to do in years past. So I'm kind of working out those plans, getting things cleaned up. But you know what's really
That's
exciting though
exciting.
too that happened this week, and I've been in people who know me, and I haven't had a chance to do this because I've been wanting to expand our spaces out and include some other things going on. But my neighbors here who have the other half of the property here, they purchased and got themselves a cool like chicken coop, right? That I had to help them get
Awesome.
set up and do all this sort of thing in the back and everything. They've already got chickens and stuff. And I've been like excited about trying to build a chicken coop or put
I was
something
gonna say,
in
are
and
they
have chickens
paying you
around
in
it and stuff.
eggs?
I know, exactly. Well, that's probably going to be the case for sure. We were talking about that. It was like, we're like, eventually you're going to have more eggs than you can ever do with. But
Yeah. Oh
no,
my
it's going to be
gosh.
great to have the little ladies running around all over the place
Yeah.
and just having them around because
We're
of just,
talking about the chickens, right?
yes, all the little hens. Can't wait for them to be just marching around. And again, too, we've got a cool space and alleyway and everything too, where we can kind of just keep the wings trimmed right. We can kind of keep them around and let them kind of free roam around some of the alleyway spaces and stuff during the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have some, like, well, I live in a subdivision, but there are some properties kind of on the outskirts of the city where people have their chickens kind of just roaming around, and
Yeah.
yeah, they stay, I guess, within the confines of the property. So
Yeah, they will. And because they know, they know where their roost is, where they got to go at night. You know what I mean? That's an
right.
important thing for chickens to have
Yeah.
their space that they're going to sleep and do that sort of thing. So they know where that is. They know where the food is, all of that. So they won't necessarily venture too far away.
Yeah.
Some will. I mean, some will, but we'll have fun with that. I do have neighbors though, actually, who live maybe a block or two in one direction and another block or two in another direction that have chickens that just run around in the street and everything as
Oh
people are
wow.
driving through too. So I'm not too worried about them running around in the alleyway, but no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I'm super like thrilled about having chickens this year, and then we'll be able to show those on videos and everything as we get
Yeah, you're gonna have
years,
to keep us posted on that chicken
Yeah.
journey. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun. And more so too, really the big thing we were really excited about and thinking about is being able to get a nice 3-stage hot compost setup done.
Yeah.
Because I've got like some compost places where like I just kind of pile some stuff throughout the year and I just let it sit and break down over a year's time, and I'll go through it at the beginning of each season and then kind of take whatever compost and use that sort of thing. But now with this chicken remains, I guess you'll say, and what they're going to leave in the straw that we'll build in, and we'll put that into this into our compost piles now and just really start working some hot compost. So that's going to be fun.
So you got some big plans for this season, which is very exciting.
Yeah, exactly. That, and so they got the chickens, and we've been talking about that for a while. So I told them as well too that I'll work on building out the rabbit hutches I want to do, because I want to get some rabbits around here as well too. Again, for fertilizer purposes. The bigger sense of all of having rabbits or the chickens around. Which, I mean, for those who enjoy those sort of things as far as food and all of that, I know many of us do. But I want the chicken poop. I want the rabbit poop. I want to.
Yeah. Oh man, you can have some of I got so much in my backyard, but I got bunnies everywhere because I usually just throw my cuttings in the backyard and then they just decompose. Right. Rather than decomposing, the bunnies go for it. All my tomato cuttings and pepper cuttings, they love it. And so, they go crazy in my backyard.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun, creating, and just building up more of what's been my mission around here, is to kind of create a really good regenerative system, where like all of our inputs into our garden are coming from the outputs of it as well. Right. So how's your week going? How's everything been growing? I mean, I'm telling you, every week. Last week, I swear to God, you could see through those plants. This week, you can't see through them. What's going
It's
on
been
there? They're
a
just growing
busy
crazy,
week.
huh?
Yeah, we're harvesting every day. I've got lettuce and herb harvest every day. Today I had a nice eggplant harvest. We're getting tomatoes finally. Peppers are growing. So the garden is in full swing. Got some of my flowers that are going to start blooming soon, which is exciting. We've got a giveaway going on. We've got, it's just been a busy week, but it's been good. It's been a good week. A lot going on in the garden.
Yeah, lots and lots growing on. That's great. I loved the opening clip too of all the harvesting and everything that you're getting out of that and everything as well too. I mean, it just goes to show how much and how much you can really get out of a system like that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to also show, the first episode of the Green Room, I was showing how I was hand pollinating to get fruit, and I hadn't had any fruit growing yet. And so the first flower that I pollinated in that video was actually the eggplant that I harvested today. So it's cool to see, the full cycle of how everything works. And then today we cooked with it. You were there.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, again,
and,
too, Natalie does live streams
meal.
every day. She does live streams every day.
And we cooked, a nice eggplant dish, and that was awesome. So it feels good to grow your own food, So it was a rewarding week. I feel good. I'm happy.
Yeah, and I've always admitted here on the show, I'm not such a big fan of eggplant, but what I saw you make today really looked good. It was really awesome.
I'm trying to just have fun with it and experiment, right? Everyone goes for eggplant parm as the go-to, so I thought, you know what? Let me try something different that maybe people wouldn't necessarily think of. But so tonight for dinner, I had that with some steak and a salad from the tower, some romaine lettuce, and it was really, really good.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, again, some great things coming right out of a grow room like that. That's just really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Let's see who is joining with us tonight, Natalie. Let's do our roll call.
My name is Kevin. Yeah. That is my name. Yeah. They call me Kevin. Yeah. Because that's my name. Roll call.
All right. It's roll call time here on the show.
We got Jay.
Yes, of course we got Jay. Top of the show. We definitely always got to say thank you to her for sure. Join us not too far from you, though. They're in Midwestern Ontario, Canada. They're in the lee of Lake Huron.
Fellow Canadian.
That's right. And then we'll also mention too, we gotta love seeing Riz Lex in the chat, joining us from, and I didn't realize this till like last week that Lex is joining us from like India, like way up there, and 17,582 feet above sea level.
And so he's actually a part of my Discord community. He sent pictures of where he's from. It's beautiful. It's a really remarkable place. Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
And we've got MK in the house. Good to see you, MK.
Yeah. And Katrina from Sow and Tear. You'll see her in just a couple minutes here on her Grow What You Eat segment. She just lives a little bit north of me up there in Douglas County, Oregon.
And we've got Guten Gardening. Funny seeing you here.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Paul. Can't wait to chat.
Yeah, Paul will be with us here in just a little bit here on the show as one of our guests. Also, MKP says, I am enjoying your channel, Sow and Tear. Awesome. I love it when you guys are out there checking each other's channels out and everything, too. That's just really awesome and expanding our community.
And if you haven't already, go check out Sow and Tear on YouTube. She's got a great channel. You'll see her in a minute.
Yeah, in fact, we'll mention to you at the end. We'll remind you all at the end of the show too. She does a live stream that you can jump onto right after this one as well too. So we'll mention that before we get going heading out today. Well,
and we got habitual hobby. So good to see you.
Excellent, and Mia, excellent. What did she say? I'm sitting beside you, MK. That's awesome.
In the virtual audience.
That's right.
And Janet, good to see you. Happy Monday, Janet. Thank you for hanging out.
Thank you, Janet. Serena as well, too. It's great to have you here with us as always, Serena. Thank you very much.
And what's up, Doc Levy? Well, Frank, good to see you.
I know. These are folks that you get to be real familiar with through your daily live streams as well, too. I love to see all of them coming.
Yeah.
us over here.
Appreciate you too, Frank.
Dusty Flats, always great to see you in the conversation as well too. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Everyone,
Oh,
give the live a like. Oh, thanks so much for the support. We appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. Thank you.
That's right.
And Be the Arrow. Thank you for hanging out. Good to see you.
Thumbs up. That's right. That's right. Thumbs up. And then Mia's mocha cake, apple turnovers, caramel Reese cups, cara oranges. Oh, what we got all sorts of things going on there, right?
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect dessert to go with the dinner that I had.
That's right. That's right.
And Eddie.
Someone say hi, Eddie.
Yeah, someone say hi, Eddie.
Excellent, excellent. And our other guest tonight, we got Scott from New Garden Road jumping in there, saying he's growing kale, broccoli, lettuce, carrots, beets, and loads more there in Austin, Texas. Excellent, excellent.
And we got Doyle. Good to see you, Doyle. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah. And another good friend of TFP, Seed Addict. Good evening, all. Hope you're all having a good day. And if you haven't, again, yeah, that's right. Everybody reminding everybody hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much.
Thanks for hanging out. And we got Adam. Good to see you, Adam. That's a good friend of yours, right?
Yeah. Adam, he's our good friend here of the show and our other moderator as well, too. He lives just right up the road from me here in Southern Oregon. And he's like, I'm attempting to multitask. Awesome. I'm so glad that you got us, in the mix of all of it as well, too.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks, Adam.
And Bark Dog.
Yeah, what's up, Bark Dog? Thank you so much for hanging out.
Excellent. And so there's Stangman says, good to see you, TFP. Good to see you as well.
Good to see you. Happy Monday, Stangman. Thanks for hanging out.
Excellent. All right. That's great. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in for our roll call there. If you haven't had a chance to get your shout out yet at all, definitely continue to jump in there and let us know where you are, where you're growing from, and all of that. And we'll definitely be popping those up on screen throughout the show. So again, thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now I guess it's time for us to go ahead and jump right into this wonderful segment we've already teased, where Katrina from Sow and Care is tell us a little bit about what she's got going on in the kitchen and a little bit of canning and preserving.
Can't wait. Let's get into it.
Thank you.
I'm Katrina with Sow and Tear with this week's Grow What You Eat. It's nearly 9 o'clock at night. It's a typical weekend for me where I stay out way past daylight doing things on the property under my headlamp. And so I come back in and I'm like, what do I eat? Hey, you can always do peanut butter jelly, but there's better ways to use the food that you grow. So I'm gonna make my meal as we talk about some planning. I went to my pantry and went shopping. So I picked up some canned rabbit and I will be draining that in here. So canned rabbit, I'm gonna make some tea, gonna do that as soon as we get the rabbit in. Got some ancho chili, what is it called? Fire roasted tomato ancho taco sauce. And this is amazing stuff from my own tomatoes, etc., right? We have those two things. That's going to be our main meal. I had just put naan, which I had in the freezer, made before, in the toaster oven, and I have some other things to top and all that we'll talk about as we go through it. So, first off, I am going to drain this rabbit, and we will use that broth in a different recipe. What we want to go through today is how to actually plan what you're eating. We talk about eating what you grow, but how do you know what you want to grow? You know, you go through and you're like, okay, well, I want to eat this, I want to eat that. What I encourage you to do is to actually plan things out. So I have a bunch of things here that were, in my pantry at one point. They were in my garden or in my yard. And if you plan these things out, you won't just have jam, right? You'll have a variety of things. And in order to do that, you have to do some planning. not all of my stuff is going to be canning, but a lot of it, we're gonna learn a lot about canning. I do have a canning playlist on my Sew and Tear channel, and you're welcome to check that out. And this is so good, guys, so good. But I wanted to share with you how easy it is to make a meal when you've already put in the effort. Now, it did take a long time to do a lot of this canning, but now I have a very nutritious meal. I'm not just eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and it's all good. So that's going to heat up while we deal with some other things. Now, some of the stuff I dehydrate. This is spearmint from my old yard, and I'm making some tea with this. So it's really good to have dried herbs. You can have them from multiple plants, multiple places. You can dehydrate them in the sun. You can dehydrate them in a dehydrator. You can freeze dry. So I do have some freeze dried, these were in the light, but freeze dried tomatoes. I also have some freeze dried roasted tomatillos that I powdered. So we're gonna add that to this as well. And this smells so good. So I'm gonna start my tea, and I really want you guys to think about when you are planning your plants, what you're going to be planting, because you could have tons of tomatoes, but maybe you really don't like tomato sauce. Now, I'm gonna say this year I am concentrating on sauces, and I also want to grow more greens. I do have some frozen green beans I could put in here. I don't really want to. We don't have to do that every time, right? You get to pick and choose when you do it. So another tool that's good to have if you're going to be storing things in jars is a vacuum sealer. Now you can do this, you can use a brake bleeder, and you can use lots of different things. But we're gonna set that on, and that's gonna go for about a minute. Dehydrated foods, I do use the band back on. Canned foods, I do not. All right, so I'm gonna be sealing these later just to save time. And as this is bubbling, I want to share a couple of places to look for what you're going to be doing. So do you have a favorite recipe? Do you have a favorite cookbook? Go in there and look and see what's there. Are you going to be planting a lot of corn? Are you going to be planting a lot of green beans? Does your family eat a lot of something already? I will say the number one cost saver in the garden and the number one health benefit in the garden is to grow your own herbs. So if you're growing your own herbs, that is the most expensive thing you're going to buy in a store. For example, I have saffron that I grew myself. Saffron, that much, have you ever seen that much saffron? Yeah, you can grow it. And when you grow your own food and your own spices, you can actually just use it. So there you go. All right, our meal is done. It's been done for a while actually, but I want to use these for, you can actually put it in there while it's simmering and it will plump back up, but I actually want to powder this. I want to just squeeze it over and do a powder on it. I found that I like that the best. Now this is going to give the fresh taste of tomatoes because it's fresh. All right, so where else do you look for recipes or for what you're going to grow? And the answer to that is canning books. So if you think you should grow a glut, if you think you want like lots and lots of something, look in your canning books, look in your preserving books. Squashes are also a good thing. If you have summer squashes, there's things you can do with that. I actually have some fake pineapple made from zucchinis that I'm going to put on top of this dish when it comes out. And that is an awesome thing to do with zucchinis and an interesting way to preserve them. But if you have winter squash, which is the pumpkins, acorn squashes, those kinds of things, those will keep for a year or longer depending on the variety. And there are tons and tons of varieties. So without like preserving them, just keeping them. So that is pretty cool. So again, this is super, super quick. Everything from the garden, I mean, I did make the from not the garden, but everything else from the garden. This is that zucchini, fake pineapple, it's zucchini. And that looks good to go. That looks good to go. So we have this. Our tea is steeped. In the time it takes to steep tea, we have a meal. And it looks like you don't have veggies in there, but guess what? All that sauce is veggies and the topping is veggies. You have veggies. All right, I'm gonna take a bite. Guys, it's so good. A couple of books I recommend besides just your regular cookbooks are the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. They have some recipes online as well, but this is worth a look through. Look how many things I tagged. Another thing to think about if you are going to can is to get this book. It is free online, National Center for Home Food Preservation. Other things to think about is the weird things, the things that you don't really think you would ever eat. Look at that. Yeah, violas. Violas are edible. It's actually really good. I haven't had those in a long time. So Katrina, what about dessert? Oh yeah, I have that covered. Guys, if you had not had pear butter before, it is so good and so easy to make. It's just cooked down pears, that's all it is. You can water bath can it, so that means if you have a stock pot, you can can it. You can freeze it. You can do all sorts of stuff. I've made it inside raviolis and it is wonderful. Pear butter on a piece of naan. Fabulous. So good. So good. And look how fast this meal is. It's so fast. I hope that gave you some ideas. We went through a lot of things. I used a lot of different things in this video. It's a fabulous meal. I have leftovers for, you know, a couple more meals with just what I made already. And it is amazing how quick your meals can be if you have all this prepared. When I do this segment, it's going to be all about cooking. So if you are interested in canning or dehydrating, those are things we're gonna show on here as well, but also actually how to use it, how to cook it, and all of that. So I'm excited for this segment. I hope you are too. I have a live chat every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So right after this live, head on over to my channel and do that. We also do a membership of we do a Cook With Me Live every month. And so that is fun too. So check that out and enjoy the day. Until next time, remember, grow what you eat and eat what you grow.
Ivy Organic was founded on the gardening concept of whitewashing, simply lightening your plants to better tolerate weather extremes, transplant shock, and so much more. Such a valuable gardening practice that farmers have been doing it since BC times. However, in recent years, most research has been caring for plants and trees using latex and tar-based products which are designed to last 100 years but fall off your plants within 1 to 2 years as your plants grow, contaminating your garden soil indefinitely. Available in colors white or more natural looking colors such as brown, green, gray, and grayish. Ivy Organic has 2 general categories of whitewash products. The 3-in-1 Plant Guard, which includes 7 natural oils including castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, which offer insect and rodent repellent protection, and the Whitewash Oil Free formula. Both products also have diatomaceous earth in the base ingredients, which naturally offer some insect repellent protection too. As always, keep growing with Ivy Organics and wishing you all happy gardening.
Why wait for the right season to start your garden when you can grow anything you want all year round? This is my indoor garden where I grow all of my own produce regardless of the season. Aeroponically grown food, pesticide-free, all organic. The mission is to inspire and educate others to do the same. Whether you're limited in space or not, an indoor garden can be your reality. Follow along as I explore all the ways to achieve a successful indoor garden. From aeroponic Dutch buckets to vertical grow towers, I experiment with all kinds of grow mediums and varieties. Let's learn and grow together and reclaim our food sovereignty.
All right, here we are back at it again. Awesome,
yeah, what a great
awesome.
segment. Thank you so much, Katrina. That was awesome.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
was really great. Again, too, we're going to be learning through this segment all sorts of ways of utilizing things from our garden and getting a really fun cooking segment. Sort of
Yeah,
like what you were doing
absolutely.
today. I'm getting a lot of cooking
Yeah,
in
I love
today
it. You
between
know
your show and
what?
ours.
Part of growing your own food is what you do with it after, right? So that is, oh, we got a little
there.
sneak
Something
peek.
happened.
That's
We got a sneak peek in there.
And
Something
we're
happened.
live.
I know. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
I don't know why that happened, but it's all right.
It's okay.
We'll get there. We'll have him on in just a moment.
Yeah, we just wanted to tease and get you guys excited.
That's right.
But anyway,
That's right,
so
exactly.
yeah, if you guys haven't already, go subscribe to Katrina's channel, Sow and Tear, on YouTube. She'll be going live right after this live, so not going to want to miss it.
Not going to want to miss it. Plus, real quick here, I want to do a quick little rundown of couple of things going on here on the Urban Gardener channel. And of course, you saw in our break, we have our sponsor, Ivy Organics, right now is doing their annual free plant scion giveaway all of the month of February right now. So if you go over to Ivy Organics and go and get some of that 3-in-1 plant guard that he's talking about, and I'm telling you, this is really great stuff, especially for those of you who are growing fruit trees and all of that. But if you go to ivyorganic.com, you use our promo code GROW10, you can also get 10% off. Is nobody hearing me? Am I having problems right now?
No, I'm hearing you.
Okay, you're hearing me all right. Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, GROW10, GRW10 for 10% off, and then get some of those free fruit plant scions and all of that as well too that you can get. So 10% off, some free plants for your garden, plus get some 3-in-1 plant guard. So definitely, it's the month to go over to ivyorganics.com.
Awesome.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, I've got the chat open here just to make sure, and we've got a couple people saying that your mic is low, but I hear you fine.
Okay.
And I have the stream playing, and I hear sounds okay. So
okay, hopefully, yeah, maybe I'm just a little far away or something. I don't know. Maybe that's the case at the moment. But anyways,
just yell at us, Enoch.
No, I'm going to yell at you. That's right. That's right. But anyways, again, too, we are here. I know we're here Monday night, but we've been here for the last couple of days. It's the 3-day gardening talk weekend on the Let's Get Growing show. And on our Saturday show this weekend, we had joining with us Maria Foglia from Growing Joy with Maria. Maria joined with us. Talk about houseplants. Everybody gets to see all my houseplants all the time, and I haven't had a chance really on this show yet to get someone on to discuss and have a really great discussion about houseplants. So Maria was really fun. She has the podcast Growing Joy with Maria, which is really, really awesome podcast for all those you like to listen to podcasts out there. You should go and check out her podcast.
Yeah, what a great guest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she was really fun. And it was really great to kind of dig into some houseplants. Like I said, it was my original plant love, if you will, since I was a very, very young kid. We talked about that as well, too, in the conversation. But it was a really great show on Saturday, as well as on Sunday, our Sunday edition. This was yesterday. The third Sunday of the month is our monthly gardening book club. That's where my friend MBC, Mr. MBC, Mark Rocher Colbert, is our co-host. And we had just an awesome book club yesterday. We welcomed Willie Galloway, author of Veggies for Breakfast, and had just a really, really awesome conversation with Willie about her book, Veggies for Breakfast. And I just say is that, again, too, for all of those who are really enjoy this segment, Grow What You Eat. Again, if you watched Natalie earlier on her live stream as well, too, in the kitchen, showing you how to do some stuff like that. Check out yesterday's show too with Willie Galloway, because she wrote a couple of really great books about that same subject. How do we utilize the food we're growing in our gardens into the food that we're making, in the kitchen. And
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
this book focusing on the most important meal of the day.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely go back and check out those shows from this weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show. So, all right, Natalie, I guess it's about time we get moving along here today. We did get just a little bit of
it was a
sneak
test
peek
run
there,
yeah,
right?
it was a test run. Paul just couldn't wait. Just kidding.
I know, exactly. I don't know. All right. Well, let's go ahead and welcome these guys into the show. So, of course, we saw Paul already there. Paul,
welcome.
How you doing? How's it going?
I have a power. I don't know.
That's right. He has a power. So we got Paul from Guten Gardening, and also returning to the Let's Get Growing show, we've got Scott from New Garden Road with us. Awesome,
welcome, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here tonight with us.
Loving it. Great show, great community.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
So
I'm gonna match your height
too. Amazing to have you guys a part of our community and joining with us again too. We're really not very many shows into this, as we were talking about at the beginning there. So again, it's really awesome of you guys to come and help us kind of get this all rolling into the year here this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I know. I've had a full day at work, and I'm getting through it here. We're a couple hours later in Austin, and but I'm grateful for it. We had some good weather today. I know it might be a lot different from all the people in your audience who are from all over the place, but it's virtually summer-like here by some standards in the middle of February. But we could just as easily be freezing cold in another week or so. We just never know in Central Texas this time of year. So I'm thankful for any day I can get out in the sunshine and enjoy my garden.
Yeah, and we had 62-degree Fahrenheit weather here today. So essentially it's t-shirt weather in Wisconsin for sure.
You both are just trying to rub it in.
The snow is almost completely gone, even the big piles. Wow. Now it's just this muddy, soppy mess. But, the groundwater levels are going up because we got a good bit of snow. So, yeah, beautiful day. And I'll say the same thing. Nice, long day at work. And now we're here to relax a little bit and enjoy some conversation.
Get to the good stuff.
Get to the good stuff. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So,
awesome.
when we talk about the good stuff around here, Natalie, right? We're also talking about what we like to do here right at the top of our interview here on the Green Room is to put you guys in a little bit of a hot seat here. We have a little segment we call the Lightning Round. Lightning Round. So, all right. Let me get this all set up here. If I can get this just right here.
We got Paul up first, right?
Okay.
Timer's up. No, let's pull that back. Sorry. That's the problem with our thing and our setup here is that when we put it on, it wants to automatically get going.
I see how it is.
You know what's ironic about that is right before the show, Paul said he was going to get it done in 58 seconds. So I thought you did that on purpose, Enoch.
I mean, I understand. I'll try to perform under pressure.
Under pressure. All right.
When I'm one of the people that can't make it in 60, though, you just pretend like I never said anything.
All right, it's okay. If it's like 65, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Excellent. So how this goes is Natalie's gonna rattle off 10 questions for each of you. We've got 1 minute on the timer. And,
2 seconds per question, pretty much, to answer. And whatever comes to the top of your head, just have fun with it. It's supposed to be stressful, but not so stressful. But the pressure's on. So whenever you're ready, Paul,
I'm ready.
take some deep breaths. You ready? All right, Enoch, absolutely. Whenever you're ready.
Let's go ahead and get this all started up.
All right, most difficult plant you've ever grown.
Brussels sprouts.
Most valuable lesson gardening has taught you.
A lot of people say patience, and I would agree with that, but the value of a hard day's work.
Worst gardening advice you've ever received.
That there is such a thing as a green thumb.
One gardening tool you can't live without.
Right here.
Biggest gardening inspiration.
My grandfather.
Most rewarding part of being a YouTube creator.
Listening to all the comments, even if I don't get to respond to them.
Crop you grow every single year.
Oh, it's going to be potatoes.
Finish the sentence. I knew I was officially a gardener when
I ate my first cherry tomato.
direct sowing seeds or seed starting early.
Seed starting early.
And favorite thing to grow indoors.
Indoors?
Yes.
Kale.
I saw you had an indoor garden, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right.
I think he had it at 58. I think I might have been
we'll give it to you.
Too,
you got it at 58.
That's a lot of pressure.
I set a goal for myself.
Yeah, he raised the bar for you, Scott. So,
I am not that concise. This is going to be disastrous.
It's okay. It's
all right, well, you're in the hot seat now, man. So
let's do it. Serve it up.
Let's do it. Huh?
All right.
All right.
Are we ready?
Ready.
As soon as the timer starts, we'll get rolling.
Number 1, favorite plant in your garden right now?
My kale.
What is always in your fridge from the garden?
Lettuce.
Most rewarding part of being a YouTube creator?
Being able to share my story.
What's your favorite kale variety?
The rainbow lacinato.
Biggest gardening myth you wish would disappear?
That it's convenient and easy to do.
If you could only grow one edible crop for the whole season, what's your pick?
Carrots.
Finish this sentence. I knew I was officially a gardener when?
My wife had to come get me after dark.
The one tool you didn't think you needed, but now you can't live without.
Oh, a watering wand.
Most difficult plant you've ever grown?
I want to say Brussels sprouts, but I never grown them, so that's failed.
Who's your biggest gardening inspiration?
My dad.
All right, you got it. You got it. Great job.
Yeah, you made it right in time.
Awesome.
Right in time.
I got to give it up to Paul. I mean, a master with the just getting to it. Way to clinch
You
it.
both did a wonderful job, and we got to know you a little bit in that short 2 minutes. So
that's right. You guys both did. Yeah, you both did a great job, and I think we're getting better at doing this, even though the timer still. But that's all right, man.
It's okay.
I love this segment so far.
Yeah, now we can.
It's a nice touch.
Now we can decompress and just jump right into it. So I just have to quickly say off the top, I love that you said when I asked what's your favorite gardening tool, your hands. That's the best. I love it. The best one that people really just it's underrated. People don't think about that, right? And so I love that you said that.
I tell you what, getting my hands into the soil, even the first and the last harvest of the year. Well, not the harvest, but the first time of the year where things are finally thawed out enough that I can actually get in there. And then a lot of times I'll have a fall potato harvest, something I'm digging in there and my hands are getting cold. I still enjoy that. But coming out of there with as dirty hands as I can get, I'm all good with that.
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing like it.
Excellent. Right on.
That's the best answer, I think. I don't know.
Well, I really loved your answer, Scott, there when you said that your wife had to come and get you after dark.
That was funny.
I used to get in some serious trouble. I mean, the passion runs so deep. You're out there. It's like there's no more daylight, but you just can't stop. And it's like, do you want to come inside? And I'm like, no, do I need to?
Those long
be
days,
back
those
in
long
10,
days.
and then it's like 2 days later, and you're finally back.
That too.
It's amazing how tired you can get from a day of work and then still spend 4 or 5 hours out there when you get a chance if the daylight hours are allowing it. Absolutely.
I know it's time to wrap it up when the raccoons come out.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
It's their turn to get some work done in the garden.
Our state bird, the mosquito, comes out pretty often too, but we do what we can to get around that. But
you guys like to claim it as the state bird there as well. I don't
know if we like to. I think we kind of have to. It doesn't feel good, I tell you.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Alaska, and that is what we really consider the official state bird up in Alaska. When I went to high school and lived out in the country, we would have to deal with like massive black clouds of them. I mean, have you ever seen one of those? Like the birds, how they all like flow together and everything?
Oh,
it is something to see a big, massive black cloud of mosquitoes rolling around.
You know, in Texas, you get acclimated to the heat. So when the cold weather comes, it's a little bit of a jolt. You know, you're soft to it. But the one caveat, or the thing that you would look forward to, is the mosquitoes dying with a good, hard freeze. So that doesn't happen until like January or February, and then they're going to kick back up again the second they get it. So it's practically year-round mosquitoes.
Wow.
Year-round.
Pretty amazing creatures, considering, we had a couple days here with the polar vortex that hit about -40 with the wind chill, and they still just come right back. It's almost like,
they're relentless.
Just take care of them.
Yeah.
Well, they do have really quick life cycles, so right.
Yeah, they just keep coming back,
though. That's the problem. They spend most of them right about here.
So we'll start with you, Paul, but why don't you both tell us a little bit about how you got started in the gardening world? Where did it all start for you?
Sure. Well, I mean, I said my grandfather was a huge influence on me, and really all of my grandparents grew up in that self-sufficiency time period. I mean, they lived through so much that I'm very fortunate to not have to have lived through. But I think what that meant for them is that they had an understanding of what it meant to have to provide for themselves. And, I was very fortunate. My grandfather on my father's side had a farm. And so I spent years on a farm growing up, and I'd see all that. I tell the story, but he would send me out there with a little 5-gallon bucket, and I'd be sitting on it, harvesting bush beans and then throwing them in between my legs down into the bucket, and just feeling bad about my life because it was hot outside and I didn't want to do it as a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever I was at the time. And then just thinking back on it now, I'd give anything to go back to that. But he had a garden there, just the typical staples, a lot of corn, a lot of beans, a lot of tomatoes, and I spent time there. And I'll say that it wasn't until years later that we got back into the garden that made that I really reflected on the why there. And then we got into the YouTube aspect of things and just expanding our garden right around 2019, 2020. And I know a lot of people got into it at the time of the pandemic, but it was a part of what we were doing. And it went beyond just the simple, we're growing a whole bunch of stuff, so now what? We just started thinking, well, if we're doing this on our little space, why not share it with other people? And so we've been very fortunate. I'd say that we've gone from a 3x3 little raised bed to the entire outside of our property lined with garden space. And I don't know that there's anything more rewarding. So that's where I'm coming from.
You definitely utilize all that space. You have a beautiful garden. And what about yourself, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a hospital administrator, and I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina on New Garden Road. So I throw it all back to kind of pay homage to that. My mother did a lot of indoor gardening, mainly houseplants, but African violets, and she had some containers outside too. So it was coming at me from all sides, really. And I had my first gardening injury at the age of 4. Somehow I got a knife in my hand. I was trying to help my dad harvest some okra, and just got myself pretty good with that thing. And then we had some family in central Louisiana, and we would go down there. And my grandfather, who I call Papaw, and he had like 100 peach trees and grew watermelons. And he passed away when I was 5, but there's pictures of me down there, because as soon as we would get there, he would have these watermelons that were in the cooler. And there's pictures of me with this big belly and a slice of watermelon in my hand, just like I'm about to like pass out. I'm just like full of watermelon. So I think it all kind of came back around full force. And in Austin, when I moved here, I wasn't really into gardening per se, but I got into cactus and succulents, and I started watching a local PBS show. And one of the founders of the organic herb movement here, John Dromgoole, had a nursery called The Natural Gardener, and he would do these spots on this PBS show, and I just was enthralled. And we were living in an apartment. We got a house. I just started right away growing some herbs, which are a great gateway to gardening, get you out there every day, get you some fresh food, some nutrients. And then I built one raised bed after a square foot gardening class that I took down at that nursery. And then like within the year, I had 22, and I just haven't stopped since. So I just took so much joy from it. And like it just really kind of came back connected with my family. And I wanted to share that with people and know that we can make a difference in our environment and our community, whatever scale we have. We can give back in biodiversity. You know, I live in this urban space where things are getting developed really quickly. You know, they're bringing in whatever, you know, non-native plants or, you know, builder soil, so we all can play a role and kind of bring some of that back. And also just the well-being, the mental health that comes from just spending a little time, you know, connecting with our soil, with our ecology, and understanding that, you know, these things that might not be seem convenient to us are maybe there for a specific reason. There's systems in play that we can get to know how ecology works. And I realized, you know, not everybody was have the same appreciation for raccoons as I do. And they're a pain in the butt. They come dig up my garden and they get people's chickens. I understand, but understanding that side of it, right? What role do I play if I pick and choose? And then that, I think, learns us and gives us a lot of lessons in terms of our society, right?
Absolutely.
What's convenient to us, what we like and don't like, or versus how important, you know, what each person and community has in that. So kind of big picture stuff is where I've evolved to. Initially, I was just like, couldn't stop digging and planting.
Yeah.
It just
And
happens, doesn't it? I mean, you get started growing and it just happens. You can't stop.
Yeah. I was going to also say, I love that, you know, I know one of your main messages is reclaiming your food sovereignty, along with connecting with, you know, your garden and the soil and learning about, you know, the role that everything plays. But food sovereignty is a big thing as well, which, you know, is a message I'm sure we all share, because I know, Paul, you also are growing your own food as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. When you see, you know, I talk about this, I think maybe more than I should on the channel, but when you see variety and you look at the limitations of the local grocery store, even the really nice co-ops and other things like that, where you may have a little bit more selection, but you look at what you can grow, the different flavors you can grow in comparison to what you're just very much limited to at the grocery store. I think that makes a huge difference. Scott, I have to say also, I called my grandfather Papal too. I don't know that too many people that call them Papal, so that's there you go. But yeah, I think that that's something that's understood by previous generations, and then I like to be hopeful, but I want, that's one of the things I think about sharing the content that all of us do share, is that hopefully there's some pieces of that will be picked up by younger folks, you know, future generations as well. And then the lessons that we're learning and the different methods we try in growing, etc. I think that'll be a part, hopefully it's passed on to other people and bring some of that back, just like you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's really a great, you know, I love stories like both of yours in a sense too, is where you've got this past, you know what I mean, from when you were a kid and you got to grow up around a lot of this sort of stuff. So there's got to be at least a lot more of that. I got to pass this information on like it was passed on to me, right? This for that. And I know, Paul, you're also a teacher as well too. So I know that teaching and doing that sort of almost kind of natural in a way for you in your profession. But I do really think there's a lot of value in that for everybody who's out there sharing on YouTube, like you said, to be able to kind of pass our passion along to others, because, you know, I go on and on and on about it here on this show, about all of the just great, amazing things that we get from gardening. And it's just not just growing our own food, which is really, really important, and to the point of food sovereignty and all of that. But there's so many other aspects of it that it really is one of those things that it is just kind of really important to be passing this along to the next generation, or even, Scott, your neighbor just right down the road, right?
Yeah. And just trying to, you know, foster wellness with others. One of the key things for me has always been to, like, I worked at that garden center for 13 years and learning the customers, the people moving to Texas, whether that not they had gardening experience or not. But when you start and what you start here is drastically different. I know it's different every place, right? But Central Texas is kind of bizarre, and like we're getting our tomatoes started in late December, and then you've got a race, to get them in late February before it gets 100 degrees.
Yeah,
And
I guess I didn't consider that.
people just needing some orientation as to whether they're starting from seed or from transplants, how important building the soil is. And so all those resources that I learned in that place, I wanted to bring forward to others, because I truly understood how hard it was, because I failed miserably so
Right.
many times and learned from others.
What's been your biggest challenge so far, combating the heat and gardening in Texas?
Well, I mean, the drought is really persistent. I mean, it goes months and months without measurable rain or significant rain, and then it floods. So you have soil that's poor to begin with, and you have a lack of moisture. So you really get an imbalance. And the thing that I've come to understand is how important we look at setting the stage in the garden for optimal growth, which goes with sun exposure, timing, crop selection, soil health, efficient watering, but a biodiverse ecosystem. And when you can't control the outlier of an environmental extreme, that gives me somewhat of a perspective on sometimes it's just going to be hard, right? But what cost is it, when we buy those carrots at the store, wherever they come from, and they all look perfect, but we have the experience of growing them, and here I'm planting them in October, and it's 4 or 5 months before I get a decent carrot, right? But that carrot is so sweet, and I turn my nose up at a store-bought carrot. I'd rather wait 5 months to get me a carrot. And I don't know, it's just, I forgot your original question. I went on a tangent.
No, that's okay. I mean, everybody loves
You
a
had a
good carrot
carrot
when you've
leading your
grown it
way,
yourself.
leading the way
Yeah,
around, right?
exactly. No, biggest challenge dealing with the heat when gardening.
Yeah, the environmental extremes,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
because you get it started and you're going good, and then it flips. Like, it's too hot in the fall, and then we get going, and then we get the polar vortex.
Right.
And then we get
Throws
going
you off,
again,
yeah.
and then it's 100 degrees. So you just have to take advantage and understand how important crop selection and saving your seeds, and some of the season extending techniques like shade cloth, and mulch and seaweed, and how that can really help you.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting too, because I think a lot of times, I mean, I'm in zone 5, and I think, here's my season, 130 days, 135 days. And then there's this tendency maybe to be jealous of other seasons or other grow zones, et cetera. And then what you're not thinking about sometimes is just those huge challenges that, maybe this person has 250 days, but think about what some of those days look like temperature wise. I mean, just, those extremes. And so I think it definitely makes sense to adjust as much as possible. Just know your zone. Know what it is, and that learning, you go through that learning process, you can produce. And it's just, I don't think it pays to be jealous of another zone, I guess is where I'm going with that. Even though you can adapt.
I know my zone. That's why I have an indoor garden.
Yeah. And again, too, on the zones though, is that we're also looking and understanding extremes, because what we know and understand of zones is that we're really looking at the winter extremes. But also it can give us an idea of like, oh, well, we need to be looking at those summer extremes too. And this is a huge issue for me here in Southern Oregon, similar to you, Scott, is, sort of what you're saying, Paul, is that I've got a great long growing season, but in the middle of that summer there, I mean, we're getting scorched. And it's just, it becomes such a big challenge at that. What would you guys say though, too? And I know you did kind of mention, maybe you could mention a few of those for those folks out there who do have hot summers and stuff, some different varieties of some of your favorite things that you have, Scott, that grow well in a hotter environment, because that's something I've kind of had to do with a bunch of my different things I want to grow, is look for varieties that are just a little bit more tolerant. And then you also mentioned the importance too, which I thought was a great point, is that when you're growing those varieties, save the seeds year in and year out too, as those seeds are genetically getting used to your growing environment more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I think for me, I've looked a lot to like the South Asia region and some of those crops like okra, uh, lima beans, certainly southern peas, things from Africa as well, that can really take the heat. But it takes a little bit of getting outside of your comfort zone too, because I like things like the warm season greens like Molokia or Egyptian spinach. That one grows like a champ without any type of shade cloth. It's very nutritious. It's not something you can bring to market necessarily. It doesn't, kind of hold its integrity, but fresh from the garden, so nutrient dense and easy to grow in my growing region. But we want our box of spinach and salad greens, so it's making that adaptation. But largely looking at some of the hotter zones around the world, I like to grow a lot of beans, and the southern peas, the lima beans, the long beans, those all do pretty well for me. I'll do successive plantings. Those greens like amaranth, even Malabar, that one grows like a champ. That's kind of really thick leaf. I know people have issues with it, so it depends on what you like to eat, and you have to kind of taste these things first. I think it's a good idea, but okra and roselle, you just have to kind of think outside the box, really. But we grow a lot of the spring crops in the fall through the winter, which is kind of topsy-turvy. And then tomatoes, I just think, I get it, they're the trophy fruit, but man, it's just tough. But the determinate varieties, I have really come to feel like do better, because they're gonna set up all at once. They're not gonna keep on going and get all this funk that they do through the season, and they kind of get while the getting's good. You plant them at the right time, you get your fruit, and then you just kind of roll through. And like cucumber melons, cucumbers, love growing those. Su Yolong has done well here for me, but eventually a lot of those cucumber varieties get bitter, from our heat. And cucumber melons, the C. Milo varieties, like you get from Cucumber Shop. I know we've talked about Jay before, Enoch a couple times, but those are really fun to experiment with. So getting to know some of these lesser known crops that are better adapted to hotter, drier climates, and just experimenting and seeing if you like to eat them.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, try something new.
You mentioned the amaranth, like the callaloo type plant. You have any difficulty with that just spreading everywhere?
Yeah, and I love it. It's automatic gardening. I was thinking a little bit when you were talking about your favorite gardening tool, like your hands. I wanted to say my eyes, but then I should really say my glasses, because I need those a lot more than I used to. But being able to identify those seedlings, and then either thin them out, or also understanding the life cycle of the plant, which is going to be really essential for a crop like that, which, yes, it will seed profusely. But each season, I just kind of wait for it. That and the Molokia, and even like lima beans. That's one I've had in a garden that I manage that just comes back year over year outside of the irrigation line, and just one plant growing like 12 feet wide and putting on beans all season long. I mean, it's a really good source of protein, and when you find one like that, so I don't know, it's probably different in my garden than it might be in somewhere that gets a little bit more even moisture, and maybe it could go a little bit crazier. But
like even with Paul's garden, what are some staples that you have that are your go-tos, I guess depending on the season, right? Because you have more variations in seasons, I guess.
Yeah, we do. We've pushed some of the boundaries, I guess, in the past in terms of what we've grown later in the season. We've certainly gone. I talk about potatoes and sweet potatoes. Those are my jam, for sure. The more I learn about it, the more fun I have experimenting with those. And I've been very fortunate to, be in contact with some pretty pretty cool people and some pretty cool experts who have really, I've been able to dive deep into the potato lore.
That's right.
But I'll say that what's really interesting about that is getting the timing right now for planting to maximize, knowing that there have been some shifts in terms of, first and last frosts and this, be a little bit careful with some of those things. But those are two of my go-tos. We have a community garden. I guess if you're in England, you might call it an allotment garden, but we have a spot that's another 1,100 square feet where I always grow all of our winter squash. I love our winter. Canada crookneck, delicata. Those are two big ones for me. We did kabocha squash this year, and the downside is that they don't store as long as some of our butternut squashes, and but the taste is just phenomenal. So those are always there. My corn's over there because I don't have the space here, and we do have to deal with some raccoons. And the raccoons I've found really like to peel the corn and eat a bite, and then go to the next one and peel it a little bit and then eat a bite, and then destroy my whole. So we've relocated some of that. I had a principal at my school years ago who said that his father tried to trick the raccoons by planting their sweet corn in the midst of all the field corn. And he said it was really amazing because that field corn was just fine, and that sweet corn was all taken down pretty quickly because it's like they knew.
Yeah.
But
they go for the good stuff.
I'll also say though, it's a part of figuring out the garden, no matter where you are. I mean, I don't have to deal with deer. I know lots of people do. I have other little pests that come along, but I think that's part of what makes it, frustrating, sure, but it's also part of what makes it challenging, and part of the learning process is how you're going to deal or adapt with each of those things, and what creative ways can you come up with. But to go back to your question, the other thing I would say is that in the past, eggplant grows really well here. Eggplant, tomatoes, those, and I can get into trouble then because I can grow a whole bunch of eggplant that some of us like a little bit. And so, that determination as to what's going to be the staple crop is largely dependent, of course, on our area, but also on what the family's going to eat, which is not something I want to play around with too much.
I was just thinking though, what is really worse though too, and I know there's a lot of like rodent pests that you mentioned, raccoons, and you're gonna go and take a little nibble of each little one, or a deer that's just gonna come in and eat everything. What's the worst thing to walk out to your garden to, right? Which one of them? Are they equal, or is it kind of like, oh man, if you were gonna eat some of that, why didn't you eat it all?
I haven't experienced deer either, but I know I've seen them around here, and I know from people that's very frustrating. So I feel like, the raccoons can be a little bit it's just like they're rummaging. They'll come hit a little bit. They don't like take everything out. Usually they just do enough to piss you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think a deer, I would really be in trouble. Yeah.
But I years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I had an idea for a video that I never made, but it was things that make you want to scream in the garden. And the impetus for it was I had planted about a dozen or so. It was kale and some other stuff. I hadn't started my own stuff. This was bought from a nursery. I came out and I had everything in a fenced off area, but I didn't know I had a hole in the plastic part of the fence on one side. And I came out the next morning, every single plant that I had planted was completely just right down to the bottom. And there he is, this little rabbit running right through. And I thought, I've got this sealed up. It's one of those things where maybe it has to do with how much time it's been in the ground that also plays a role into it. But there are any of those little things, I think sometimes can be enough to say, oh, I can't do this right now. So they can play that role. So I think the mindset is, plays an important piece in that too.
Yeah, for sure. So back to, you said that you grow a lot of squash and eggplant, and I guess you grow based on what the family's going to eat and things like that. Do you do any canning, pickling, preserving, or do either of you do that with any of your harvests?
A little bit.
Yeah, I'll say that we mostly freeze. Freeze is the easiest thing. We do have a canner, but our stove is not. I mean, it's an electric stove, and that's a little bit more challenging. Other than, I mean, we do water bath canning, stuff like that, but that's something we're going to get more into. Certainly, I come from a long line of canners. I mean, I can still remember my grandmother making. She had the grapes, so we would get some Concord grape juice every single year, jam, all kind of good stuff. So we have I come from a long line of people who know how to can, and we've done some, but we need to do more. But mostly for us, it's been freezing because that's the quickest and easiest for what we do, blanch and freeze or just straight.
Yeah, for sure. What about yourself, Scott?
Really tiny kitchen in this house, and like immediately you start to do some canning, you have no room to work. So it's difficult to get a workflow, but I've tried some quick pickling, and this summer I was growing the ají dulce spice pepper, which I wasn't real familiar with, but I was like, this thing tastes really interesting. I'm gonna pickle this thing, and it was so delicious. Quick kind of stovetop pickle, and then I made some hot sauce. It wasn't hot, but I used these chalaca peppers, which is that's like the pasilla when they dry. Really fresh, and had some fresh lime juice from my lime trees I grew it and threw in there. That was fun. So I love cooking and doing things with them, and I would love to do more preserving like that, and even like dehydrating and freeze drying. I feel like there's so much coming from the garden that I could get me through some of these points in the season where it's kind of rough, and I'm like, all I got is okra for 2 months. That's okay. I'm grateful, but I also made some marmalade this winter from some of my kumquats. It was a Chang Shao kumquat, and it took a while, to cook them down, and it was like a real labor of love. I was like, am I getting this right? I couldn't tell. And then it set up, and it was a little extra thick, but it was so good. And I did water bath can those, which I'm not real versed at, but I would love to do more of that. I think that's really where some of the value and the power for establishing food sovereignty comes, because you see these people with these cupboards full of canned foods, and like your video earlier of cooking from one of those. I mean, that's where it's at. You got your community, you got your food. You don't have to drive and go spend money on something that you don't really like because you grow it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not that, I mean, I'm not going to judge what's expensive or not expensive, but you get yourself a dehydrator. The things that you can do with a dehydrator is so phenomenal. I mean, basil.
Even a freeze dryer too.
A little more expensive, I think. And I'd love to play around with the freeze. Those tomatoes in that clip from earlier, crumbling up the tomatoes, that was phenomenal. I'd do that in a heartbeat. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I grow a lot of mushrooms, and that's one thing, because like I'm like, what do I do with all these? Because they come on like right now. Like I probably harvested like 5 pounds of mushrooms last week, and what are you gonna do? I have we have like a block rescue program here that I'm involved with. So they come from mushroom farms, and we I'll deliver them to neighborhood locations. There's a Central Texas Mycology that coordinates it and does a lot of other educational outreach. But I'll take a few blocks home, and I always have a few blocks through the cool season. And the moment it rains, or even is kind of a humid spell, they'll go off. So I harvested like some blue oyster, black pearl, piopini, and I've got some lion's mane coming on right now. But it's all in a kind of a condensed fashion. So I've been starting to roast them, which is a great way to do it. But to be able to dehydrate them, like you're
make some tea, grind them up, make some tea. That's so good. Yeah, absolutely. Big fan.
Excellent. Real quick here, we did have a question that jumped in just a little bit earlier. Julius was asking Scott, what is good to plant in Texas right now?
Yeah, you need to hold on to your hat and get ready to throw some tomatoes down and ride it out, because it's going to be a little bit cool at night, but you got to go for it. I think that and corn is right around the corner. End of the month, you can start planting your corn seed, and then cucumbers and squash right behind that. Those are probably some of the the, the ones that you need to be ready for, as well as like snap beans. You want to go some good snap beans. They do not like it when it starts to get hot here, and so that I think that being ready for the early planting, being able to navigate any of the remaining cool nights is just something that you're going to have to do. But those are the ones I would go for.
Yeah, all that again too, all that nice hot weather, warm weather crops and stuff that you're getting ready to jump into, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But we got a little while to wait.
It was 86 last week.
Wow.
It's going to be 29 here in about 3 days. Well, at nighttime it's still getting down there. Right now it's about 40, but yeah, so we're not out of the woods yet. It's one of these things where you get some beautiful days here and you start thinking thoughts you shouldn't be thinking about what you're going to be starting and putting stuff outside. But we're not that far off here from some things that we can sow, some beans and some other things that we can get in the ground outside, or some peas, I should say, and some cool other stuff. I do a lot of stuff. We start a lot inside. I've got my sweet potatoes just getting started now to get some slips out of those. So, but we're getting there. We're getting there too. Not 80s.
I saw you have a small indoor garden, right? Do you use that frequently, or is it just there to start your seedlings?
Yeah,
for the season?
We built the indoor. I think I mentioned this in a recent video. We built the indoor raised bed. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. I have to disassemble it because it's bigger than the door that it went through. But I assembled it when I put in here. But yeah, I typically grow things in there. Sometimes it's multiple. We've done bok choy, and bok choy is a little bit harder for me. I don't get the lighting just right, and then it goes to seed too quickly. But usually kale. And this year, in the past, I've experimented with growing potatoes in there. This year, I'm growing some sweet potatoes. I don't know that they've done as well as I'd like, but I'm getting ready to harvest those and see how they did. Just something to keep it alive. And then I'll have a green stock indoors as well. But it's just a 4x8. It's not quite the size you have, but a 4x8 there, and it's something that to keep going during the winter time. And on
scratches
top of that,
the itch. Yeah,
right.
It gives you your gardening fix, right? In the winter,
right.
It's so tough when you can't have your garden.
Well, and then on top of that whole space then I can use to start seeds as we get into the seed starting season. And I mentioned this. I'm trying to think who it was. It was I have to go back through the comments here that you put it on the screen as well, that that it can be cheaper to grow your own food even than some of those other methods. It was Adam, I believe, who said this. But yeah, especially if you start your own seeds and you're not spending money. I mean, high quality seedlings can be a little bit pricey. But if you can get a pack of seeds and you've got hundreds of plants going, and I'll say this, I think about it in terms of what vegetables add the most value that we love to eat. But I've in the past had enough left over in terms of seedlings to not expensively, but to sell them to other gardeners who are looking for them. So if you're looking for ways to actually, it's not going to create an income for you necessarily, but for ways to fund your garden in that way, I mean, that's start a few extra. I think that helps a lot with the cost overall.
Yeah, I see them all the time throughout my different garden groups that I have here in my local area. There's folks all the time always trying to sell off extra seedlings, of all sorts of different varieties of different things throughout the season. So, and you always see too, people when they're putting those offers out, people in those comments like, hey, I'm going to come get some. I want to get some, So there are folks that are really looking to, get some good starts from people who can start up seeds pretty well, and sometimes it's difficult for folks to be able to get started with seeds, and certain varieties of things are near impossible sometimes. I have a few myself that I've even struggled with still myself when it comes down to it. So being able to offer people in your local community some good seedlings is a great idea to maybe make a few extra bucks and fund some of those extra little things you want to do in your garden, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like I love starting seeds so much, more
Yeah.
so than I do like planting the seedlings out.
Me too.
And so my partner's like, well, you should grow and sell transplants. And I was like, probably, because like I could just go to town all day long and but then somebody else take them from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's something relaxing about it too,
Yeah.
picking out your seeds,
Yeah.
germinating them, or however you start your seed. How do you start your seed? I mean, you just probably start them in cell trays and soil, or do you get direct sow them in the ground?
A little bit of both, but a lot of like outdoors in trays seasonally with some cover sometimes. It's kind of crazy, but direct seeding, which can be tricky. That's where the raccoons usually come in, because like when I'm trying to wait for the weather to cool off, and then I'm keeping the seed beds moist to germinate, and then they're like, oh, water. So I got like some pallet tables that are raised off the ground that help a little bit, some cayenne pepper, but I don't really have indoor seed starting space here. I have some other gardens I work with where I'll start some things in that way, but primarily direct seeding is whenever I can, but it might be outside, which is kind of wild sometimes.
Yeah, the one time I tried direct seeding, I had the little seedling sprout, and the squirrels just went through it and tore it all up. So I won't be doing that again.
Yeah, so a lot of times I'll do both, right? I'll start some in a seed tray and direct seed, and I always say you have to have the gardening space in the first place, but try to grow a little extra, and when you can do like that,
contingency,
Yeah, that's where you're gonna get some of those extras you can sell off to your neighbors, though, right? Is always making sure you're growing just a little bit extra to ensure that you got what you need. And then, and I'm always doing that with everything. And another thing too, I like to grow a lot of extra for is so that I can get first pick of the best looking starts, right?
Yeah.
And if you wait a couple weeks, you do with our summer squash. We don't grow as many summer squash we used to, but wait a couple weeks, plant a second set of summer squash. That way, if you have an issue with the borer or whatever taking out a plant, then you got another one to back it up. And I don't know. I think about the enjoyable element of this, of having too many options. You do feel a little bit bad, I think, at some point if some of them are going to go to waste, and you can't get rid of them. But at the same time, just having that supply, and quite frankly, we've got a couple places locally that have some really good quality stuff, but most of the stuff that's out there, I mean, they don't take care of it once it's off the trucks and out at the places that are selling them. You go out there and it's, as my grandfather would say, it's plumb pitiful. So that's one of the elements too. You've got complete control. It all comes back to control in some way. Controlling the quality of everything, and it's really going to be as good as your time allows, and as dedicated as you are to it.
Yeah, and that's what I always say too, is your garden and your results can be as much work as you want to put into it, or as little, but it'll show in your yields and your results and your harvests. So
yeah, absolutely.
Have either of you guys, and Robin just popped this up here too, have either of you guys tried this new craze of snails, seed snails or whatever?
I just watched a video of it. Just literally yesterday. I saw somebody planting.
Oh, yes. I've seen them.
Pulling the wagon along, and
I'm not up to speed on this phenomenon, but I have heard of it.
Yeah, so it's like a sushi roll filled with seeds almost, right? It's like I mean, you can use different mediums, but it's 2 pieces of, I guess, compostable something that's sandwiched with soil and seeds between, and you just roll it, and the seeds just sprout out the top, and you just plant it in the ground. It's
I think it's really cool. They have a lot. I've seen something similar to that too I want to say at the dollar store, like Dollar Tree, where they were selling the rolls of, and then you basically just rolled it out, and lots of ways.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
interesting. I just love it. It's a whole. It seems to be the new craze. I'm seeing it all over the place right now for everybody, and it's. I like it. I want to experiment with it a little bit myself too, and have some fun. It looks like it's just a really easy, simple way to get some seeds started and all of that, and and I think like maybe even onions would probably be really good because how you pull them out and have to transplant them inside one of those like rolls or something would be great. I don't know. I'm just thinking of whole different things that they could work for and stuff.
It's
So I
got
want to
that
try to experiment
intrigue
with it.
factor.
Yeah.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott,
Like
how
Beat
do
stale.
onions do?
creative ways, right?
How do onions do with you, Scott?
Well, we can do short day varieties. I don't start them from seed though. That's I think something. If I had a larger space, I was really growing out more, I probably would. But I usually get a few bundles of they call them sets down here,
Sets, yeah,
but
yeah,
they're
it's the same.
they're like bare root onion plants, pencil size. And there's a grower down here that does real good. And with the short day varieties, they can do pretty well. I always grow one called the Texas Legend, which is like different. It's based on the 1015s, so it's a sweet yellow onion, stores for several months. And then the Southern Belle Red is my other favorite. Doesn't store as long, maybe a couple months, but I'll generally plant in January, February, harvest in May, and then I'll have some through the summer if I don't put them up somehow.
Yeah.
And green onions and shallots, we can do all those too. I got a lot of green onions out there right now.
Very cool.
Yeah, green onions are good, and they're easy
How about
to grow
for you,
too.
Paul? How are you doing with onions up there?
We start them pretty early. I usually do start them from seed. I used to grow a lot from sets. I found that a lot of them bolted rather than giving me a nice size bulb, nice size onion. So I think that was one of the challenges for me. So we went more to starting direct from seed indoors and then transplanting out. But it's been interesting to me to see the variance from year to year. Some years it's phenomenal. Some years, I don't know if it's a watering issue, but some years, I've had better luck at my community garden growing onions than I have here. So it's but we've been growing the last 2 years, we've been growing the Egyptian walking onions, and they look like they're dead, and then they're back, and then they're everywhere. And so I've been having some fun with those, actually. Just I accidentally broke some off. Not what you do anyway. I accidentally broke some off, and so I threw them into the back of I didn't plant them. I just threw them into the back of right behind where I grow the rest of my onions. And now I've got a whole bunch of them back there too. So
nice.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I would say I have a bit of an obsession with garlic right now, though. So my goal this year is as much garlic as I can. I'm going to experiment around with it a little bit too, and some foliar spray stuff. And but man, the alliums are. I love the alliums. I love the fact that a lot of pests don't mess with them too. So
yeah, exactly.
That is a big bonus.
Rewarding in the way like growing other herbs are, because you got those flavors that you can add to whatever. You got greens and beans, which is kind of like what I really lean into, and you can flavor them up in all kind of ways with those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to chop up. We'll take some of our pepper harvest, some of our onion harvest, chop them up, just a little one of those choppers, and then just freeze them. And then obviously the texture's not going to be there, but just throw them in anything to cook with it, and it is super simple, easy way to preserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
All right. So what's Paul, what's you got different varieties of garlic growing right now? Or
I'd have to look and see. I think this season I have 7 varieties that we're growing. They're all hardneck this year. I've grown some soft neck, or tried, and it's a little bit tougher. We have some varieties that work okay in this area, but there's a Korean red garlic. It's called Wisconsin Korean garlic, is what they're calling it, I guess. But we got a whole bunch of different varieties. I've been really fortunate. I had the pleasure to work with some folks in Madison, Wisconsin. They're called Keen Organics, Keen Garlic, and I got to interview them, and they taught. I mean, you go to the experts. They're just a fountain of knowledge. They've been growing for years and years, decades. And I think right now they have 40 or 50 different varieties of garlic that they're selling. And so they taught me through the process, picked out some of the garlic, some traditional music, and some of the other ones that are very common, and then experiment around with a lot of those. And so we're trying a whole bunch of different stuff this year. I've been harvesting scapes the last couple of years, and it's, I talk about the joy of learning. And this is going to sound awful to anybody who knows anything about garlic, I suppose, but the first time we tried growing garlic, I couldn't figure out why I didn't have any scapes, because I didn't understand the difference that hardneck would have scapes. I mean, just the simple things, looking back, you feel a little bit foolish at that lack of knowledge, but also it's kind of nice to figure those things out.
You don't know until you try certain things, right? And then you kind of experience for the first time, versus sometimes you don't think to research these things,
Well, I certainly didn't.
Well, right. Well, it's the simple thing too, where I'm sitting here saying, well, hey, these garlics, just like other alliums, they go to seed. Well, what happens if I plant this seed? I mean, I'll just get a new garlic. And it's not how it works. I mean, you can get a new garlic, but it's not going to be this.
Yeah.
A couple of years down the road, and all those little pieces, I think, is that's what makes it fun to play around with, to learn those pieces. To me,
I think garlic is a great starter crop for someone. For one, it's something that they can grow right off the bat, and you're going to grow enough to last you, plenty. You know what I mean? So you're going to get plentiful out of it. It's so easy to grow, and it's versatile. We talked yesterday on our book club show with Willie Galloway, who wrote a book called Veggies for Breakfast, about versatile crops. And the cool thing, like you mentioned, about hardnecks is they produce that scape, which is a whole nother second crop if you're looking for something from them as well too. I just remember though too, that was like the one thing, like if you asked the question, you knew you were a gardener when, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of those for me, was garlic, because it took that little learning curve. You got to know when to start it up. I mean, it grows, you can grow it and start it almost any time, but it's what are you going to expect out of what you're getting from it, right?
Right.
So I started mine very first time. I was getting the seedlings out and doing things in some of my first gardens, and I wanted to grow garlic. So I took those cloves. I knew enough that you had to grow them from the individual cloves, right? And I stuck them right into those little 6 cells, and stuck them in the cells, and got them growing out and doing that. And then I had to learn, okay, that's not the way you do it. You got to get them out in the ground. So there I am out putting them out in the ground the next year in the spring. I'm not even thinking to even look up or research this. I'm just going at it, in my first couple of years of gardening. And it was garlic, and finally figured out, you got to plant these things in fall. And then when I harvested that first crop of garlic that first time, man, that was that moment. Oh, I know what I'm doing now, right? I figured out something, I've still got some work on brassicas, but you know what? Garlic I've got down for sure. And it is one of those great first crops for folks out there to get started with.
I'm going to be trying it. I've never tried it. I'm going to be trying it this season. We'll see how it goes.
It's so good too when you grow some fresh garlic. I mean, the way it comes out of the peel, it's all oily. It's just
beautiful. I've gotten it from a farm before, so I know the freshness. It's just I've never had the experience of growing my own, and I cook with garlic every meal.
The pride combines with the freshness.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And the first time, so we peel the bottommost layer off, and there's some garden experience there. It was so satisfaction. You peel that layer off, and there's the white bulb underneath.
Yeah.
And the smell. You eat one piece of that, you know what burning feels like, because that stuff is strong. It's amazing.
It's pungent.
It's so good. So good.
And down here, we've in the South, the soft neck garlics have always been the thing, and that's what I've grown primarily. But I'm trying some hardnecks this season because they grow them at nearby farms, so why not try? Yeah. And the elephant garlic, which more like a leek, but that one's very easy, and it makes those little like corms, that come off of it. That's a very giving plant to grow, because then you practically never get rid of. It's almost like the amaranth. It's like the stuff just keeps coming up in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even got that experiment going on in my garden where I've taken some of those little bulbils, little bulbils that'll grow off of elephant garlic, and hardneck garlics will do as well. But the flower more will grow. The flower on a hardneck, if you let it flower out and do that, will produce those little bulbils as well too. Yeah. And I've been planting those out, and you got to, grow them a couple of seasons in order to start getting to a full size bulb that'll split into cloves. So I think hopefully this next year will be the year where we'll finally get some split bulbs off of it.
Yeah, I love the taste of elephant garlic. I didn't know that was a leek more so than until a couple months ago, and we got to play around with it. So yeah, a couple of those cloves will do you.
Yeah.
I've never heard of elephant garlic.
They're about four cloves per
you just
per
feel
bulb.
like a champion.
Per bulb, I think.
You feel like a champion.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
So when you're planting out your garlic in this next year, and again too, we're planting it out in fall, so you'll have to wait a bit. But get some elephant garlic in there with it as well too. You'll definitely love it. And an elephant garlic will grow similar too as well, like with escape and everything too.
So Serena asked a question about the warmth and the cold, and how it will impact the garlic overall. It's not really something I worry about. I did early on, but it just sort of takes care of itself. We've got a nice covering. We usually put about 5 or 6 inches of, for us it's hay, but late cut hay, so it's not as much seed, but straw or hay over top. And if you get a little green sprouts coming through, something like that, it's not a problem. It just sort of, it does its own thing. So we've had no problem with that at all. But that's a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, I've started pushing my planting of garlic a little bit later in the season. They say October, November, but I really try to wait. I mean, I think I watched like a podcast with Joe Gardner where it was like someone from Fillery Farms there in Washington, maybe. That's where I ordered the garlic that I'm growing this season. But it was the idea of 2 weeks ahead of your first average frost, which may come for us in December or January, but I don't want them to get too big. And then because we'll go from, it's not just like us getting cold temperatures, it's us being 80 degrees and then getting 20 degrees.
Yeah, so that's different.
So I don't want them to be too big at that point. So I really try to push it late in the season. And then, it is what it is with the healthy soil and the mulch and the irrigation. Just try to support them.
We did this. We waited longer this past. Dusty just said it. We waited longer this past fall than normal too. To put them in the ground. My thought process from what they've told me is just you would like to have a little bit of time for things to start to get acclimated, but there's no need to have it growing and growing and growing too early. I think is more of a problem than too late. And I've heard people go even later than I did, but
Yeah, you just want to give it enough time, really, just like you're saying, to just establish a little bit of a root system going, and then it's got a little root system going when that green starts popping up just a little bit. But if you can figure that out over a couple of seasons, when that really matches up to when you're starting to see those first frosts and first freezes in your area, just a couple of weeks before that's probably going to really do you good for getting them started. Because that's really the important thing about them. The big learning curve for me with garlic was they need to have this winter. They need to have that cold. They need to be frozen over during the winter time. Yeah, that's what tells that clove to split up, So, and that was one of the first things I was really frustrated with in that first garlic crop I got out of it, because I'm growing it from spring into summer, and I'm like, oh, it's ready, and I pull it out, and it's just this solid bulb, and I'm like, what's and it's not very big, it's small. I'm like, what's going on? This didn't work out right. And I think that's about the time I was like, I gotta figure out how to actually grow this right.
Yeah. The first time we ever got any garlic at all, it wasn't good, but it was still garlic. So I mean, it was soft neck garlic. I waited way too long to harvest. The bulbs were starting to split. I mean, but I felt so accomplished holding that up. Even if it wasn't much, but I felt so accomplished. It was just something about that, and the taste was great. It wasn't going to store for very long, but the taste was great. So I don't know. There's something about that feeling. I know that we all have experienced it, but there's something about that feeling for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing like growing your own, and especially when you had to overcome a learning curve to get to the harvest. You know, it's the victory is that much sweeter.
Exactly, right.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. How about this? Tell us a little bit here. I mean, again, too, we're getting to the point here. We got to wind this down. Unfortunately, I would wish I could hang out with you guys all night long and talk all about this stuff.
Time flies when we're having a good talk.
It really does. Yeah. But tell us a little bit, guys. Each of you here, and we'll start with Scott there. But let us know a little bit about what you got growing on for 2026. What are you looking forward to in this upcoming growing season? And not just your garden, but what you're going to be doing with your channels and all of that as well too.
Yeah, this year I've really been focused on doing more writing. I've started a Substack. I've put up a couple of posts, and I'm really enjoying that process. I'm a photographer too, so it's really the reason I started, making YouTube videos, because I was like, this is ridiculous. I have 1,000 photos of my garden. I need to, but I wanted to tell the story. So that combined with live streaming, so I want to do consistent and regular live streams that kind of, develop some of these Substack topics and kind of really bring that all together. And then in the garden, I'm really excited about this next season because I'm planting corn and varieties of beans and okra from Save Seeds, and I'm going to do some sesame and all kind of zinnias and sunflowers and some morning glories, just some really beautiful flowers. And I have 25 citrus trees that are all but one are in containers, and I love my citrus trees. So my little garden is a sanctuary. I don't get to spend as much time out there as I used to, but I want to continue to foster with my community through those elements of some live streaming, just so I can get it out there, and also writing to really share what I've been able to distill working with others, learning myself, and just building on that.
It's amazing. Love that.
I will say that I was so busy this past summer. I do want to spend, I think Enoch, you and I shared a lot there, where I want to spend more time and do more and be more consistent. I got very fortunate that we got rain at the right time, on time, almost every time for a good bit of the summer. So that helped me out a lot, but I want to be able to go back and spend more time out there, be a little bit less busy. But I have a couple things I'm very excited about. I mentioned the garlic. We're experimenting around with it. I have some really cool ideas. So the owner over at Keen Organic was telling me some of the things that he would recommend I try out. And so I'm excited to try out some different methods, see what I can do to increase bulb size, compare some of the garlic I saved from last year to the new seed garlic, all that. There's a new variety of potato we're going to grow this year, a Sharpo Shona, which is the third Sharpo variety that we're going to grow. And so I'm excited. I've really loved those potatoes. And we've got a bunch of different varieties of sweet potatoes we're going to try out again this year. So it's those little things. And the best part about all of this in my mind is that I don't get tired of it. I've never had a potato harvest, sweet potato harvest, or harvest in general where I thought, well, I've done this before, so I guess I'll go do it again. Sometimes they're a little bit tedious, especially if it's cherry tomatoes or something like that. But just in general, that experience does not get old. So I'm looking forward to reliving those experiences again and again here in the next couple months.
Very exciting. I'm looking forward to following both of your upcoming journeys on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
likewise.
Where can everyone find you? What what do you have? Do you have anything going on? With your
Yeah.
socials and
Yeah, I
YouTube
mean,
and
I'm on YouTube at New Garden Road, Instagram, Substack, Scott Blackburn, New Garden Road. But I've got a link tree on all that stuff that'll connect you to all that and more. And yeah, I do presentations around town, consultations. So I work at in town at the university as a garden coordinator. So it's nonstop gardening, education, experimenting, and just yeah. I'm rambling. I get a ramble.
That's
Ramble.
what
it's
we're
okay.
here
It's
for.
Yeah.
Don't
good.
worry
Ramble.
about
There's a
Ramble
song
rambling.
about
away.
that.
That's why we have a talk
About
show
that.
here, man. Just talk it all out.
Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube at Guten Gardening. I have other social media accounts. I'm on Instagram, and I also have a Facebook group, Guten Gardening Facebook group. I'll be honest with you, the place that I spend most of my time is on, like where I post is on YouTube. Is where you can find most of my stuff. But I always enjoy reading conversations, etc. too. I should say that something I intend. I always say it every year, so I got to do it at some point. But I intend to get better at responding to all the comments that come in. But I do read them all. I enjoy them all.
Yes.
Time doesn't always allow me to, but I think that's part of who we are. We also have those other jobs, the things that keep us busy during the day. But I'd love to hear from everybody out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also just thank you for what you both do for the community, sharing your gardens, sharing your knowledge, your information, your experiences. It's the best thing we can do for this community is to grow together.
I wanted to throw in this one thought I was having earlier, which was about when, if like things collapse, we're going to have the YouTube gardeners somewhere. Our data, our videos will bring back civilization. Everyone will know
I
how
love
to
it.
garden.
What a great thought.
That's our goal. There it is.
That's the
Yeah,
goal, man.
there
I
it
love
is.
it.
Well
That's a
said.
great parting thought right there, Scott. I love that. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you, Scott.
You as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, and it was so great to talk to you both, meet you both, and just pick your brains. So thank you for sharing your time and just sharing your stories. It's been really wonderful to chat.
Thank you
Thank you
both.
for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Again, too, same here. Thank you for being around and coming and join with us again here. Let's get growing and, just awesome guests and helping us get this green room going as we're rolling into 26 and everything. And I know that there's a few folks there who did drop in some last minute questions into the chat there, but this is a great opportunity for you to go over to their channels and check out what they got going there. And you can ask them those questions directly. And I know Scott and Paul would love to answer any more questions you might possibly have. So go over and check out their channels as well too, as we keep on growing into 2026, man. Thank you guys so much again for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
See you guys soon.
Happy growing.
Hey gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits.
All right. There we go, Natalie. Another
What a great conversation.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those guys really brought it for us tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, I've been following them on YouTube, and so it was cool to get to chat. I love what they're both doing, and I love that we kind of share that same driving force behind why we grow our own food and why we garden. So love that.
Yeah, again, too, a couple of another great gardeners here on the show with us too, like Natalie's saying, sharing just awesome stuff. And we're getting to with this conversation a little bit of, some information about hot weather stuff going on in Texas. And we're up in Wisconsin with Paul talking about a couple of different zones and stuff. But you're absolutely right about what really comes through in the conversation is just this driving passion that we all have to not just grow our own food, but have that full gardening experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the learning never stops. And that seems to be the reoccurring theme with every guest that we've had, which it's so true, right? You have something to look forward to for the rest of your life when you grow a garden.
That's right. That's right. Get in on it while you can right now. I know a lot of folks who are with us are already gardeners and all of that, but if you are a new gardener out there, definitely just jump right in, have some fun.
Yeah.
And
go for it is the best
you
advice.
See what it's like.
Have.
We all love it. The whole gardening community is full of amazing people too, and that's what this show is all about, is getting together with all of you folks out there who are watching with us and viewing this show, as well as all of our amazing guests that we get to learn so much from here each and every week on the show. So, just really, really exceptional community. You're not going to find
for sure. What do we got coming up?
Well, all right. Let's talk about a little bit about what we got coming up. I did mention earlier about yesterday's show was our monthly gardening book club. So I do want to mention here real quick too, is that we announce our newest book for the next month's book club at the end of our shows. And this week we announced that our March selection for the book club is a guest we actually had on just not too long ago, Gary Pilarczyk from The Rusted Garden on YouTube. He's a OG of gardening. He wrote a book called Growing an Edible Landscape, and we're gonna review this book this month. And on the third Sunday of March, I believe that's the 16th of March, we will have Gary on with us to talk all about this really, really great book that he wrote. And again, too, I think I mentioned this to you in the last week or so when we had Gary on before. This guy is like literally one of the first people that I ran into on YouTube when I started checking out YouTube and gardening all the way back in was it like 2010, 2011? So this is going to be a great conversation with him on our book club coming up next month.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
Yeah. And then next Saturday, again, we're your 3-day gardening weekend talk show here. And next Saturday on the show, we're going to have our good friend. He's our co-host for the book club. He's going to be back with us this next Saturday because he'll be there, I think, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday up in Seattle, the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. It's probably one of the biggest garden shows in the U.S. anyways.
Wow.
But just really a huge show. I've been up there several times. It's so much fun. Mark's going to be rolling around, taking some video, getting us some clips, and then he'll come and join with us live next Saturday and talk all about it. We'll see who we can wrangle too, because there are a lot of people who've been guests on this show.
Yeah,
who are
for sure.
up at that show and everything. So I told Mark,
do a little
keep an eye out
impromptu
for
interview.
folks.
Yeah,
and go snag some of those folks up for us for
sure. Nice. That's exciting. Good stuff.
Yeah. And then also too, next Sunday, I am taking the day off, and Jay's going to take over the chat. So Jay's going to do a cool, fun chat with everybody. And I believe that she's lined up a guest for that show. Joe from Muddy Puddles Farm will join up with her on that chat with everybody next Sunday. So definitely come and check out the Let's Get Growing show, hosted by Jay Dixon. And you guys all have a great fun chat while I'm out going and doing some other things. I'm going to go spend the day with my granddaughter or something and have some fun.
Nice.
That's for sure.
That's exciting. Always good to have some family time.
That's right. But that's only one day off because, again, it's a 3-day weekend. I'm going to be right back here again the next day. That'll be next Monday on the show again for the next green room that we'll have here again. We'll have joining with us this time next week. We'll have Nick Federoff, the host of Things Green, and our good friend David from Bowtie Life is going to join us here on the show. This is going to be a fun show.
One.
No, this is going to be a fun one. Have you had a chance yet to check out Nick?
I have not. No, I'm going to have to check
you're going to have fun checking out his content this week and a really great conversation with him.
I look forward to it.
Nick's done. I mean, he's been on radio for many years, and also is the local Los Angeles PBS gardener and does gardening for a lot of the local news stations and everything around the Los Angeles area there. And
Awesome.
I've gotten to be on his show a couple of times. It's really fun. So we've got to have him here on our show.
Cool. Yeah. Fitting.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we got lots of great things coming up here on the Let's Get Growing show. And again, you're doing live streaming every single day. You got some plans
no days
coming
off.
up. Yeah, I know. You get no days off.
No days off.
Do you
every
try
day.
to fit one in at all? Do you fit in a day off? Do you
know what?
I don't feel like it today.
No, it's my one time in the day where I have like the best time. So in fact, it is my time off of everything else, So I enjoy it. It's easy to stay committed to because all the people that show up every day are awesome. So
yeah. Well, that's cool. So, and then what are your big plans with the garden in the tent there? This week?
Well, I anticipate having more harvests very, very soon in the next coming week. We got some Cherokee purples finally growing, which is exciting. So I'm just looking forward to this week. I've got a bunch of new varieties that are fruiting, and we'll see how things look. So just excited to get some color in the garden,
Yeah. That's going to be awesome. Well, right on. Well, again, it's just another great show with everybody here today.
Absolutely.
So really awesome to have you all here.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for your time and for participating in the chat. It always, keeps things exciting and engaging, and the guests love it too. Your questions. So we appreciate you all for being here. And for those of you that are watching the replay, thank you for taking the time. Again, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. And absolutely. Thank you all so much. And again, we've been doing our Saturday and Sunday show, for a couple of years now, and we added this one on and everything. But so far, I mean, you guys are really leading the pack here on Monday night. You're bringing exceptional conversation to our chat, awesome questions for our guests. You guys are absolutely amazing. And it's been just so wonderful getting to hang out with all of you here tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right.
Yeah, everybody. On that note, it concludes another episode of The Green Room.
That's right. That's the end. One more show in the books right here on The Green Room. But again, we'll be back next weekend for more Let's Get Growing shows, and back next Monday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, for another Green Room. And we all look forward to seeing you all next week.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you then.
Take care.
Power out.